Thurman Lee Thomas was born on May 16, 1966, in Houston, Texas, and from an early age, it was clear that he had the natural gifts of a great athlete. Growing up in the Missouri City suburb of Houston, Thomas was surrounded by football culture. He fell in love with the game during childhood and played throughout his formative years, gaining recognition at Willow Ridge High School. His athleticism, speed, and vision set him apart from other players, and by the time he graduated, he had established himself as one of the top running backs in the state of Texas. He accepted a scholarship to play football at Oklahoma State University, a program that, at the time, was growing in prominence thanks to a series of strong recruits and forward-thinking coaching. Thurman Thomas became the starting running back for the Cowboys as a freshman in 1984. His impact was immediate. That year, he rushed for over 1,000 yards, and his powerful yet elusive style earned him recognition as one of the best backs in college football. Despite dealing with knee injuries that would have sidelined most players, Thomas played through the pain and continued to produce at a high level, displaying not only physical toughness but also mental fortitude. During his college career, Thomas would be joined in the Oklahoma State backfield by another future NFL legend, Barry Sanders. As Thomas continued to dominate defenses with his quick cuts, balance, and field awareness, Sanders was developing behind him. In most other programs, Sanders would have started immediately, but at Oklahoma State, he waited in the wings while Thomas led the charge. Over 4 seasons with the Cowboys, Thomas rushed for over 5,000 yards and scored 50 touchdowns. He was a 2-time All-American and was named the Big 8 Offensive Player of the Year in 1985 and 1987. Despite his college success, Thomas entered the 1988 NFL Draft with some uncertainty. Concerns about the health of his knees, especially a major injury during his junior year, caused his draft stock to drop. Many teams were wary of investing in a running back who could be considered injury-prone. As a result, Thomas slid into the second round, where he was selected by the Buffalo Bills with the 40th overall pick. That decision would prove to be one of the best in franchise history. Upon arriving in Buffalo, Thomas joined a team that was on the verge of becoming one of the AFC's dominant forces. The Bills had already assembled a strong core of players, including quarterback Jim Kelly, wide receiver Andre Reed, and defensive stalwart Bruce Smith. Thomas quickly became a key component of the Bills' offense. He brought a dynamic presence to the backfield, not only as a rusher but also as a receiver. His ability to catch passes out of the backfield made him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. In his rookie season, Thomas rushed for 881 yards and caught 18 passes, immediately proving that he could handle the transition to the NFL. But it was in his second season, 1989, that Thomas truly broke out. He rushed for over 1,200 yards and added 60 receptions, totaling more than 1,800 yards from scrimmage. That year, he earned his first Pro Bowl selection and helped lead the Bills to the playoffs. His dual-threat ability fit perfectly with Buffalo's no-huddle offense, which was designed to keep defenses off balance and exploit mismatches. Thomas's production continued to rise as the Bills entered the 1990s. In 1990, he led the NFL in yards from scrimmage with 1,829 and helped guide the Bills to Super Bowl 25 against the New York Giants. In that game, Thomas played brilliantly, rushing for 135 yards and a touchdown on just 15 carries. Many believed he should have been named Super Bowl MVP, but the honor went to Giants running back Otis Anderson. Despite the Bills' narrow 20-19 loss, Thomas had established himself as one of the premier running backs in the league. The following years brought more success, both individually and for the team. From 1990 to 1993, the Buffalo Bills reached the Super Bowl for consecutive times, a feat no other team has accomplished. Though they failed to win the championship in each appearance, Thomas remained one of the most productive and consistent players in the league. In 1991, he had his best season, rushing for 1,407 yards and scoring 12 touchdowns, while adding 62 receptions for 631 yards. That year, he was named the NFL's most valuable player by the Associated Press and was also named Offensive Player of the Year. Throughout this period, Thomas was the engine of Buffalo's offense. While Jim Kelly orchestrated the passing game and Andre Reed made plays on the outside, it was Thomas who kept the chains moving and the offense unpredictable. He was a nightmare for defensive coordinators, who struggled to account for his ability to gash them on the ground or slip out for a catch in the flat. His pass-catching ability allowed Buffalo to use him in a wide array of formations, creating mismatches against linebackers and safeties. He was a true all-purpose back in an era that was just beginning to value that kind of versatility. Off the field, Thomas was known for his competitive fire and his leadership. He wasn't always the most vocal player in the locker room, but he led by example. Teammates respected his work ethic, his toughness, and his desire to win. He had a blue-collar mentality that fit well with the city of Buffalo, and fans embraced him wholeheartedly. He became one of the most beloved athletes in the city's history. Even as the Bills suffered disappointment on the grandest stage, losing 4 Super Bowls in a row, Thomas remained a pillar of excellence. He continued to churn out 1,000-yard seasons and Pro Bowl appearances. He made the Pro Bowl 5 consecutive times from 1989 to 1993 and was a first-team All-Pro selection in 1990 and 1991. He also led the league in yards from scrimmage for 4 straight seasons, from 1989 to 1992, a testament to his durability, skill, and consistency. As the Bills' Super Bowl window began to close in the mid-1990s, Thomas's workload gradually began to decrease. Age, injuries, and the physical toll of nearly a decade of heavy usage started to show. But even as his rushing totals declined, he remained a valuable contributor to the team. By the time he left Buffalo in 2000, he had rushed for 11,938 yards, caught 456 passes for 4,458 yards, and scored 88 total touchdowns. He was the franchise's all-time leading rusher and had become synonymous with the most successful era in Bills history. In 2000, after being released by the Bills due to salary cap issues, Thomas signed with the Miami Dolphins, hoping to contribute as a veteran presence. However, a knee injury cut his final season short, and he retired from professional football shortly thereafter. While his time with the Dolphins was brief and relatively uneventful, it did not tarnish the legacy he had built over 12 incredible seasons in Buffalo. Following his retirement from professional football, Thurman Thomas didn't disappear from the public eye. Instead, he embraced life after the NFL with the same level of determination and character that had defined his playing career. He remained closely tied to the city of Buffalo and its fan base, often returning for special events and charitable efforts. His retirement did not signal the end of his impact on the game. In many ways, it only strengthened his legacy. In 2001, only a year after his retirement, the Buffalo Bills signed Thomas to a ceremonial one-day contract so that he could officially retire as a member of the team. It was a symbolic gesture, but one that carried deep emotional meaning for both Thomas and the fans who had supported him through the highs and lows of his storied career. That same year, the Bills added him to the franchise's Wall of Fame at Highmark Stadium, then known as Ralph Wilson Stadium, an honor reserved for the greatest and most influential players in team history. His post-career accolades continued to mount. In 2005, Thurman Thomas was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, recognizing his dominant years at Oklahoma State and the historic numbers he had posted. Just 3 years later, in 2007, he received the highest honor that can be bestowed upon a professional football player, induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. His Hall of Fame induction was a moment of validation, not only for Thomas, but for all those who had followed his career from the beginning. It confirmed what Bills fans and football insiders had known for years, that Thurman Thomas was not just great, he was generational. He was enshrined alongside fellow legends Michael Irvin, Bruce Matthews, Charlie Sanders, Roger Warely, and Gene Hickerson. During his emotional induction speech, Thomas thanked his family, coaches, teammates, and most notably the fans of Buffalo, who had stood by him during every step of his career. Statistically, Thomas's numbers alone place him among the greatest running backs in NFL history. He retired with over 12,000 rushing yards, more than 4,000 receiving yards, and a total of 88 touchdowns. At the time of his retirement, he ranked 9th all-time in career rushing yards. But statistics alone don't capture the totality of his impact. What separated Thomas was his ability to affect every aspect of the game. He wasn't just a ball carrier. He was a weapon in every down, every formation, and every situation. One of the most remarkable aspects of his career was his ability to lead the league in yards from scrimmage for 4 consecutive seasons, from 1989 to 1992. That feat speaks not only to his production but to his consistency and durability in a physically punishing position. He was a dual-threat back before the term became a staple in NFL terminology, and he helped redefine what it meant to be a complete running back in a modern offensive system. Off the field, Thomas began to turn his attention toward business ventures and philanthropy. He became active in supporting youth football programs and inner-city initiatives aimed at helping underserved communities. He also worked with organizations that helped retired NFL players transition into life after football, focusing on mental health, financial literacy, and identity after retirement, issues that have become increasingly visible within the sports world. Thomas also became an advocate for players' safety and for reform in the way the NFL handles injuries, especially concussions and long-term brain health. Having endured the physical and mental toll of a long professional career, Thomas was passionate about ensuring that future generations of players would be better protected and better supported. In Buffalo, Thomas became not just a former player but a community figure. He often appeared at team functions, local businesses, and charity events, using his platform to give back to a city that had given him so much. His number 34 jersey was officially retired by the Buffalo Bills in 2018, making him only the third player in franchise history to receive such an honor. The ceremony was met with thunderous applause from thousands of fans who had grown up watching Thomas carry the team through the franchise's golden years. While his name is forever etched in Buffalo Bills history, Thomas's legacy extends beyond one city or team. He influenced how NFL offenses used running backs, particularly in the passing game. Before players like Marshall Faulk and LaDainian Tomlinson made dual-threat backs fashionable in the late 90s and early 2000s, it was Thurman Thomas who had shown how dangerous a player could be when they were just as skilled catching the ball as they were running it. His style laid the groundwork for future generations of backs who would demand to be used as complete offensive weapons. Thomas also left a mark on the culture of football itself. He was a symbol of resilience, a player who overcame injuries in college to dominate the NFL, a leader who kept playing at a high level even as his team fell short on the biggest stage 4 years in a row. His story is a reminder that greatness isn't just measured in championships, but in longevity, versatility, and the impact one leaves on teammates, opponents, and fans alike. In interviews, Thomas often speaks about the mental side of the game, how the pressure, the scrutiny, and the demands of the NFL tested him in ways that the physical hits never could. His openness about those struggles has made him a valuable voice in ongoing conversations about athlete mental health. He has helped dismantle the stigma around mental challenges in professional sports, encouraging athletes to seek support and speak openly about their experiences. Today, Thurman Thomas remains a powerful symbol of Buffalo's football identity: tough, underrated, and never backing down. His contributions on the field transformed the Bills into a perennial contender and gave a city hope during a golden era. Off the field, he continues to inspire through his work in advocacy, mentorship, and community engagement. Thurman Thomas may never have hoisted the Lombardi Trophy, but he earned something just as meaningful: the eternal respect of football fans across generations. His name stands among the NFL's all-time greats, and his story is one of courage, transformation, and enduring impact. In the end, Thurman Thomas didn't just play football. He elevated it, and he did it with grace, grit, and greatness.